The story of Daniel Dancer is hilarious because it is quite literally the opposite of a dandy. For those of you unfamiliar, there was a habit in the 18th and 19th century of people to get suddenly rich after inheriting a whole bunch of stuff and then blowing all of their money on fancy clothes and activities for, well, basically a few years and then they go bankrupt. Daniel Dancer, though, was the opposite. He was a miser. A guy who was born in the early 18th century and after inheriting a large estate from his father, proceeded to basically spend no money whatsoever for the rest of his life. He owned a large estate with a farm and just let it completely go fallow so they didn't have to pay to upkeep it. And for a long time, the only other person who stayed with him was his sister, who he employed as a housekeeper. Funnily enough, when she died, it was one of the only times that he allowed himself to buy anything and used part of his inheritance from her death to buy himself some second-hand clothing so he could mourn her. The man had so much money and didn't want to be robbed that he boarded up his own front door and then proceeded to get into his house every day by climbing in through a window with a ladder. Weird stuff.